Most of Europe has been crushed under the Axis boot, forcing an Allied retreat. Their supply lines for food and raw materials are crippled. The Suez Canal is a lifeline, connecting Britain with its empire and Middle Eastern oil, making the war in North Africa crucial. As the British and Axis armies face each other across the Libyan-Egypt border, the front line swings like a pendulum across the western desert. A harsh, unforgiving strip of land between the Mediterranean and the Sahara. Mechanized warfare has come of age. Here, tanks are king. I've arrived in TOBRUK, off a boat filled with replacements and reinforcements. Young men blindly rushing to their deaths. None of them are comfortable having someone like me around. Suits me fine. Most of them won't make it out of here alive. Rommel was kicked out during Operation Crusader, but Axis forces are once again sweeping across the western desert. The Gazala Gallop began with the Allied retreat, and Rommel is at the city's throat. There's no time for tactics. 35,000 of us have one order. Hold TOBRUK.
Don't worry, lads, we'll be alright. We've got an American. Can't even really blame the Americans for this, because believe it or not, this is by Rebellion Software. It's a British game. Sniper Elite V3. A British game that rewrites history for America, portraying America as the saviours of the British forces in North Africa in 1942. Who needs America? We're our own worst enemy. Yes, Sniper Elite V3. Odd choice of hero aside, but I guess if they wanted the game to sell in America, they had to put an American in it. Just look at every great British movie that's been made over the last 20 years. It always stars an American, doesn't it? But anyway, it is what it is. And what it is pretty much more of the same that we saw in Sniper Elite and Sniper Elite V2. It is definitely not for the weak of stomach. But I think it's fantastic. Get a load of this. Those of you who've never seen a Sniper Elite game before, you're going to be seeing a lot of this during the course of this video. There is very little that's actually new in this latest version of Sniper Elite, but most people playing this ain't going to care because they really just want, well, more of this. You better see a doctor, son. Get that stitched. That's pretty much what the Sniper Elite games have always been about. Well, not so much that, as just queuing up those ridiculous trick shots and pulling off the most absurd kill sequences. And Sniper Elite V3 delivers that as well. Chew on that one, Rommel. You've got to feel sorry for the Germans though, don't you? I mean, they're always the bad guys. It must be... Well, I doubt that this game's even on sale in Germany. And, well, it's not hard to see why. They've taken care to remove all the swastikas, but I still don't think this one's going to get past the German censors. The graphics, however. The Sniper Elite games have always looked good, but look at this. This is pretty spectacular. If you've got the hardware to run this machine on ultra settings, well, this is what it looks like. So, this is heavy artillery, apparently. It's a flak truck. Destroy the heavy artillery. Oh, Rebellion Software. You so silly. Just pop one in the fuel can. It's very much a Hollywood version of World War II. It's not terribly realistic. Oh, Jingles, stop complaining and just watch the pretty explosions. There you go, World War II, as directed by Michael Bay. And here come the Nebelwerfers, and the Stukas, and yeah, you look pretty screwed, my son. Yeah, you probably want to get your head down. No, you need to zig, not zag. Yep, he zagged when he should have zigged. Oh well, never mind. Actually, saying that Sniper Elite isn't terribly realistic isn't strictly true. because what these games have always been about is that mix of the ridiculous over-the-top action, but with some of the most realistic bullet ballistics in any game of this type. Now, I, of course, am a terrible scrub, so I play it on the easier difficulty settings, so I don't have to worry about things like, well, ballistics, bullet drop, wind, all that sort of thing, and at extreme ranges, Coriolis force. But all that kind of thing is modelled into the game if you play it on the higher difficulty settings, and it can be a real challenge to get that bullet to go where you want it to. Also take into account that the enemies are a hell of a lot tougher when you play on high difficulty settings, and this game can be very, very, very challenging. I, however, just play it for shits and giggles, so I play it on the lower difficulty settings, and for me it's more a case of trying to get the perfect clear of a level. Trying to get the maximum number of stealth takedowns, trying to find every collectible, every secret on each level, all of the bonus objectives. There's any number of different ways that you can go about achieving any given set of objectives in any level in the game. And for me, that's where the staying power and replay value of the game lies. The game draws you in with the, oh, look at the gory kill cam sequences, and, you know, that's what makes people get the game. But what makes people keep playing the game is the multiple different ways that there are of clearing any one given level. At the moment, I'm just wandering around with my well-rod stealth pistol. Get close to this guy, go for a stealth takedown. So that's cleared the sentries. The objective of this tutorial level is to take out the Nebelwerfer multiple barreled mortars that are shelling TOBRUK. Now, how you go about doing that is entirely up to you. You can charge in all guns blazing. Not recommended on the higher difficulty settings, but definitely works on the easier settings. You can try to go for stealth takedowns. On a lot of the levels in the game, it's entirely possible to clear an entire level without once using your sniper rifle, if you're sneaky enough. But, you know, using the sniper rifle's fun. You don't get the kill cam unless you're using the sniper rifle. So there's a whole bunch of these Nebelwerfer positions, and I'm just clearing out the sentries. I do actually miss a golden opportunity here, because when that Nebelwerfer is firing, nobody's going to hear the sound of my gunshot, so if I'd been quick enough to switch back to the rifle, I could have capped one of these artillerymen without the other guy hearing the shot. But there's only two of them, and it is an M1, it's a semi-automatic rifle, so while he's going, what the hell, there's already a bullet on the way. So that's the first gun position taken out. And now I need to relocate, because anybody who heard that gunshot will come and start investigating. Got to admit that this is one aspect of the game that feels a bit gamey rather than realistic. I mean, I appreciate that they've made the effort to make the AI react to the sound of gunshots, but it does all kind of fall apart when a sentry does react to a gunshot, comes to investigate, can't find you, while he's poking around amongst the bodies of all his dead friends in a destroyed gun position, but because he doesn't see the American sniper, he just assumes he was hearing things and goes back to his game of cards. But I do appreciate that they need to keep the game moving. They don't want you hiding behind a rock for half an hour while the entire garrison beats the rocks and bushes looking for you, so they have to keep the game moving. And small concessions to gameplay like that I'm perfectly willing to overlook. So, second gun position. I've taken care of two of the sentries. I'll whip out the binoculars now and start tagging targets. Now these guys are going to remain lit up once I've tagged them with the binoculars. Oh, the Nebelwerfer's firing. If I'm quick here, I can switch to the rifle and use the sound of the mortar firing. I think I missed it. I think I was just a little bit too slow. Yeah, they've heard it. They haven't quite pinpointed the sound. The second guy's looking over to where the first sentry got shot. Luckily, a semi-automatic rifle, I can finish them off very, very quickly. Okay, I think he knows he's in the shit now. Yeah, he's definitely in the shit now. Well, somebody definitely heard that, and the next gun position isn't that far away, and the sentries from there have been alerted, and they're coming over to investigate, so I'll just give them time to get bored and go back to their game of cards. Now, as an example of the multiple different ways that you can take down any one of these objectives, this sniper's nest is standing right behind the second gun pit that I just cleared, and from up here you can see right down into the ammunition box of the Nebelwerfer. So if I'd climbed up here, I could have put a shot into the rocket ammunition and taken the gun pit out that way, but from up here I can also see over to the next gun pit. So I could have just gone ahead and cleared that gun pit in exactly the same way, crept around with the silence pistol, eliminated the sentries, and then killed the guards in exactly the same fashion. But from up here, well, I switched the binoculars and there's all kinds of things over there I can shoot that go bang. And you can use the fact that the guards do react to sound to your advantage, and I'll show you the sort of thing I'm talking about. Okay, there's one of them. Now there's a big old explosive barrel behind him. He's too far away to be killed by the explosion, but there's another one. So if I shoot the barrel now, that kills the guy at the back. He turns around to look and see what the hell happened, and while he's distracted, I can put one right into the back of his head. So that's nice. And if you're sufficiently sneaky and you choose the priority in which you take your targets down with care, you can get away without even using the sniper rifle at all. There's one, there's two, and oh, rock was in the way, move to the side. Bingo, there's three. There's another gun pit cleared, and I didn't even have to use the sniper rifle. Not one of them saw me, and not one of them was even aware they were under attack until it was too late. One pit to go. For the final gun position, I'm going to try something a little different. I have some dynamite, so I'm going to select the dynamite. I'm going to toss that into the gun position, and then I'm going to shoot it, because we haven't had enough explosions. I could just put a bullet straight into the ammunition box underneath the rocket launcher, but nah, I want to use my dynamite. Off it goes, whip out the rifle, put a shot into it, causes a chain reaction and actually detonates the ammunition box under the Nebelwerfer anyway, and oops, so here comes the Luftwaffe. So, Sniper Elite V3. Is it any different to Sniper Elite V2? Well, not really, it just comes in North African desert colours this time around, but for those of you who played and enjoyed Sniper Elite V2, that's not necessarily a bad thing. This is pretty much more of the same. It's not all just the single player campaign, and the single player campaign is a lot of fun. There are also extras like the target shooting ranges, where you can hone your skills on the pistol, the rifle, and the various different submachine guns. It's not just a question of accurate shooting, you also have to time your reloads to ensure that you're not caught wrong-footed with no ammunition in the gun when the next set of targets pop up. It is actually quite challenging, especially the rifle course, because regardless of the difficulty setting that you've chosen to play the single-player campaign, when you're on the rifle range it's always full accuracy, so you really do need to worry about ballistics. Which does come as a bit of a shock when you've been playing the campaign on the easier difficulty settings and suddenly you have to actually start raising your sights when you're shooting at something that's more than 150 metres away. And completing the challenge courses on the various different weapon ranges unlocks that range's armoury, which allows access to all kinds of different weapons. Unfortunately, you can only use them on the shooting range. If you want to get them in the game itself, you're going to have to unlock them the old-fashioned way, but it does give you an idea of the kind of weapons that you can expect to be using later on in the main campaign. Weapons like, for example, the STG-44. Yeah, it did take me a few attempts to get the perfect score on the machine gun range, but that probably won't come as any surprise to anybody who's ever seen me play World of Tanks. So there's the main campaign and there's the firing range, but that's not all. You've got various different challenge modes. Solo survival, you alone against a wave of enemies. Survival, you and a friend against waves of enemies. And then I like the look of this Overwatch mode, What you have here is one player plays as the sniper, the other plays as the operative, and the operative has to navigate the level while lighting up targets for the sniper, picking locks and opening up fresh objectives. The sniper obviously sits in the high ground and makes sure that the operative doesn't get killed. So this looks really, really fun, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if I end up playing this with Circumflexes, for example, on his live stream, because we both ended up getting Sniper Elite V3 on the same day, thanks to Sir Fosh letting us know that it was on sale for 70% off on a Steam weekend sale while we were in the middle of a World of Tanks live stream. Turned out it was only on sale for another 12 minutes. Luckily, I was playing artillery at the time, helping Circumflexes complete a light tank mission, so I had plenty of time between reloads to alt-tab out of World of Tanks and buy myself a copy of Sniper Elite V3. So I am very, very much looking forward to some cooperative play in Sniper Elite V3, something that I never bothered doing in Sniper Elite or Sniper Elite V2. Now, those of you who are interested in what you've seen, and it does look amazingly pretty, by the way, if you're curious as to whether or not your machine is going to be capable of running this game, well, on ultra detail settings, what I'm doing right now is running the benchmarking utility that comes with the game. Ultra detail settings, my machine's specifications are in the video description. I can quite happily report that I can manage to run this at an average of 55 frames per second. And it does look incredible. Check this out. Oh yeah. So, Sniper Elite V3. It's pretty much more of the same from Sniper Elite and Sniper Elite V2, but if you enjoyed those two, that's no bad thing. I can see myself sinking a lot of hours into this game, and particularly in the cooperative mode, which I'm definitely looking forward to trying. I wouldn't hesitate recommending this game to anybody who has even the slightest interest in Second World War based shooters. This is definitely one of the better examples of the genre, in my humble opinion, and my humble opinion is what you guys come to this channel for. So, Sniper Elite V3, it's a big thumbs up from me. Hope you enjoyed the video, folks. Take care, and I'll catch you next time.